welcome to Peace Only Podcast, a brand new series from Peace Corps Senegal. I'm your host, Franco Latona. Throughout this series, we're going to take you, the listener, inside the lives of our volunteers and show you what it truly means to serve in Senegal. Each week, we'll sit down with one of our volunteers to discuss different aspects of Peace Corps service. We'll talk about work projects, what it's like living with a host family, coping strategies our volunteers use to deal with stress, and so much more. First, I want to explain how we got the name Peace Only Podcast. So Senegal consists of a variety of different ethnic groups, each with its own unique language. But they share one common characteristic. For most greetings, like when someone says, "How are you?" the response is, "Peace only." Okay? So all the languages use the Arabic word jam, which means peace, followed by the language's word for only. So in Wolof, it's jam rek, jam meaning peace, and rek, the Wolof word for only. In Pular, it's jam tan. Again, jam meaning peace, tan, the Pular word for only. Serer, it's jam som, and so on and so forth. Okay? So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we got our name, Peace Only Podcast. Special thank you to agriculture volunteer Celine for coming up with it. And with that, let's get started. For our very first episode, we caught up with Willow. She's a health volunteer in the Fatigue region. Just 4 months into her service, Willow is still relatively new on her Peace Corps journey. But while she may be new to Senegal, she's no stranger to traveling.
I think I've always been pretty internationally minded. I've spent some time in France and Italy, traveling with family and friends. And then in college, I did a couple months study abroad working in anthropological research in Tanzania.
Willow was placed in a small rural village of about 1,200 people. She lives in the village chief's home, along with his wife and 2 children.
It feels a lot of the time like my host mom is just like my regular mom telling me like, okay, like you need to go sweep your room or something like that.
Like most people in her village, Willow's family is Serer, a minority ethnic group in Senegal with its own unique language. And how is that going? Do you feel proficient in Serer yet? How deep have your conversations been up until this point?
I'm really enjoying learning Serer. It's a beautiful language, even though some of the sounds I've never made before in my life. A lot of the time, though, I will switch to French if I really want to be understood. And I think that there is kind of a tension when you know French, which is sort of one of the official languages here, between really wanting to get good at the local language, which gives you respect, and really wanting to be understood and, get to that deeper meaning.
And getting to that deeper meaning is important for volunteers who want to do work projects, like the one Willow started recently in her village.
Right now, I'm really excited about a project that I'm working on with the midwife at my clinic, where we're going to be working to make sure that pregnant mothers and new mothers really get the support that they need throughout the first 1,000 days of their baby's life. Specifically, I want to work with community health workers to really create a support system, a safety net for women, so that they feel not only that they have the resources to take care of their babies and the information, but also that they are supported in going to get care when they need to get care.
So there's a lot going on in Willow's life right now. Living in a completely different part of the world, in a new culture, speaking a language she had never heard of before coming to Senegal. Day after day, it can be a lot, especially dealing with parts of Senegalese culture that are different from the US.
Greeting here is such a big thing. People will greet for like a full 2 minutes, and it's really important that you greet, to the point where at points where you don't want to be greeted, they will still greet you and try to initiate like a little conversation just to show that they care, which is super sweet. But like in the US, when you have your headphones in and you're sitting there listening to something or on your computer, people in the US get it. They're like, don't talk to her, she's busy. Where if I'm on the phone with my mom from the US and I have my headphones in and I'm talking to her, my host family will still come to me and start to talk to me. So then I'm trying to have two conversations and not be rude to both of them, and it can be a little frustrating.
Willow says taking some time alone each day helps her deal with all the changes and relieve stress.
I read a lot. I think I've gone through like 15 books since I've gotten to Senegal, which is a lot more than I ever read in college. I will work out, which is good.
What do you do for workouts?
Lots of yoga. I have like a really intense yoga function on my computer, video on my computer. So whenever I have computer power, I'll watch that and work out.
Lift the hips up. Plank 3. It's almost like a downward dog, except we're staying on our elbows. Lift up.
Has there been any points throughout your service yet where you felt a little bit homesick?
Yeah, I think you definitely get homesick. There are points where I miss my parents, where I miss my family. It can be hard sometimes to see friends getting new apartments and, you know, having, it seems like these really big milestones. Everyone's getting married now, which is crazy. So it can be hard to feel like you're not there to like appreciate those things with them. I think the thing that I tell myself whenever I have those moments is like, you can always call and check in, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I did get a new apartment. I moved into the hut in my village, and I got a new job, and I have my own milestones that I'm making. So it's just, you learn not to compare yourself too much because your journeys are similar, but also really different.
But Willow's not alone. There are over 200 volunteers currently serving in Senegal. She said she's made a few friends since arriving. Okay, and do you use those friends for support when you're feeling a little down or stressed out? Do you call other volunteers?
Oh yeah, I call all the time, probably an annoying amount. We have free calling on our phones between Peace Corps volunteers, which is really, really helpful. Unfortunately, my village doesn't have great connection, so sometimes I think the most I've done so far is I had to hang up and recall my friend like 60 times in a conversation, like 60, but it was worth it, and we got to catch up, and it was really nice.
Willow says she's thinking about med school after Peace Corps service.
Thinking about medical school, currently studying for the MCAT, it's kicking my butt.
With a year and 6 months to go, she says she's just trying to make the most of her time here while she can. Okay, Willow, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Franco.
And thank you for listening. I'm your host, Franco Latona. And with that, I say ba benen, ngongo, à la prochaine. Until next time, inshallah.